I'm Pamela Wilson. I help caregivers and aging adults solve caregiving problems, and today I'm here with Meghan Kluth from the Colorado Respite Coalition, and we are here to talk about why it's so difficult for caregivers to ask for help. And I will let Meghan answer her part of that question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think first of all, it's pretty tough for anybody to ask for help. It's certainly not my strong suit, but I think with caregiving, there's definitely an added layer to that. I think some of it is, it's usually your family. It could be a friend or a neighbor, but it's somebody you're close to, and so there's an element of feeling like maybe you failed or you're not doing well enough, and that is absolutely not the case. I often tell people, like, imagine that tomorrow you get handed an executive level job in an industry you're unfamiliar with, and they'd say you get no training and no support staff. Like, that's not realistic. So why do families put themselves in that position of feeling like I have to do everything by myself? And I think there's just a lot of emotion that is really important to talk about with caregivers, and that it's an emotional process. It's not something people prepare for, but it happens to so many of us. And so there's a lot of guilt or feeling like I'm not doing enough or I can't find help is something that's certainly a very real challenge, is finding quality support. And that's at the Colorado Respite Coalition, what we try to do is find the right fit for families, because that's important. But it is tough to ask for help. But I think, oftentimes people want to help in some capacity and they just may not know what to do. So I think it's important for people to think about, their own personal network. It doesn't necessarily have to be a professional. It might be somebody in their life that, can do something as simple as running an errand. Or, maybe they are taking their kid to a practice and they can just give your child a ride to that. Things that kind of ease, your burden a little bit. So I think it's oftentimes I see this incredibly big kind of mountain to get over, but as soon as you get over, not always, but you kind of realize, like, people want to help and people maybe don't know what's going on, but asking for help is absolutely not a weakness. It's very much a sign of strength for us. So we really encourage families to take a step back and realize it's okay, and it's a really good thing to ask for help.
And what I've experienced on a national basis with my support groups is that men and women are very different in caregiving.
Yes.
And in how they ask for help. Women, we're emotional, we want to talk about everything, we're very hands-on. What I find with the men is that men feel like caregiving is such a responsibility.
Right.
That it's a duty that they have to perform, and so they shouldn't ask for help, or they shouldn't complain or express any feelings. But the moment that men do, what I find is that then they almost feel this sense of relief, like, oh, I can talk about this, it's okay to talk about it. And then you put them with women, and then they become more chatty like the women, and the women, start to, pat the men on the back and tell them it's okay.
Yeah. And
so it just is a way to help caregivers open up and be able to talk about caregiving. And support groups, whether they're online or in person, they are so important. I know it's difficult for caregivers to get away. I have an online support group on my website. It's PamelaDWilson.com, and it's free, and it's the first Saturday of every month. So I think for caregivers, asking for help even through groups and other ways is a good way to start getting help and to not be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely.
This is Meghan. I'm Pamela Wilson. We will see you in another video.